Here's your topic.
All right.
Describe your favorite food at a traditional festival or a special event in your country.
Okay, so obviously for this deep dive, we don't have the 1 minute preparation time.
Right?
But imagine that you would have that time to kind of
Yeah. To brainstorm.
brainstorm, and get your ideas together.
And structure your answer.
Exactly. So let's hear first a Band-Aid answer.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. One of my favorite traditional foods in Iran is sabzi polamahi, which is a fragrant herb rice served with fried or grilled fish. This dish is particularly popular during Nowruz, the Persian New Year, which marks the arrival of spring. It is a symbolic dish that represents life, growth, and abundance. The rice is cooked with fresh herbs like parsley, dill, and cilantro, giving it a vibrant green color and fresh aroma. The fish is usually marinated with saffron and spices before being fried or grilled. Preparing this dish requires careful attention to detail to ensure that the rice is fluffy and the fish is perfectly cooked. I love this dish because it not only tastes amazing, but also carries deep cultural significance. It reminds me of family gatherings during Nowruz, where we sit together around a beautifully decorated table to celebrate new beginnings. The combination of flavors and the festive atmosphere make it truly special.
Okay. That's a good start. You've described the dish, the festival, and why it's special to you.
Yeah.
Now let's see how a Band 9 answer might approach the same topic.
Okay, so here's the Band 9 version. One of my favorite traditional foods in India is gujiyas, which are sweet dumplings filled with koya, dried milk solids, nuts, and sometimes coconut. Gujiyas are especially popular during Holi, the festival of colors celebrated in spring. To prepare gujiyas, dough made from flour is rolled out into small circles, filled with the sweet mixture of koya and nuts, and then folded into crescent shapes before being deep fried until golden brown. Some people also coat them with sugar syrup for extra sweetness. I love gujiyas because they symbolize the joy and sweetness of holy celebrations. The process of making them is often a family activity where everyone participates, creating memories along with delicious treats. The crispy texture and rich filling make them irresistible.
Excellent. Now, if you were listening closely, you might have noticed some subtle but significant differences between those two answers.
Yeah.
What stood out to you?
I noticed the Band 9 answers seem to use more vivid imagery, like crispy texture and rich filling. It's almost like you can taste the gujiyas.
Exactly. That's a great observation.
Yeah.
The Band 9 answer paints a more sensory experience for the listener.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the food itself.
Right.
It's about how that food is woven into the cultural fabric of the festival.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also seemed like the Band 9 answer connected the gujiyas to the joy and sweetness of Holi.
Right.
Which added another layer of meaning.
That's right. It's not just about describing the food.
Yeah.
It's about showing a deeper understanding of its cultural significance.
Right.
Now let's move on to part 3.
Okay.
Where you'll be asked a series of follow-up questions related to the topic you just discussed. Are you ready to tackle some of those?
Bring them on. I'm feeling more confident already.
All right, first question. Is it bad behavior for people to look at their phones during a meal?
I think, yes, it can be considered disrespectful.
Okay.
Because meals are often a time for bonding and conversation. And looking at phones can make others feel ignored or unimportant.
Good. Now let's hear a Band 9 response to the same question.
Okay. Yes, it's generally seen as impolite because meals are considered a time to connect with family or friends. Constant phone use can disrupt meaningful interactions.
Interesting. Did you notice how the Band 9 answer uses stronger vocabulary?
Yeah.
Impolite instead of disrespectful.
Right.
Disrupt instead of make others feel ignored.
Yeah.
It's more concise and impactful.
Yes, I see that now.
Yeah.
Word choice really matters.
Absolutely. Next question. Why do people like to have a big meal at traditional festivals or big events?
I would say big meals are a way to celebrate and bring people together.
Okay.
In Iran, sharing food during festivals like Nowruz symbolizes unity, abundance, and gratitude.
Good. You brought in a cultural reference there. Let's see how a Band 9 answer might expand on that idea.
Okay. In India, food is central to celebrations as it brings people together and reflects the diversity of cultures within the country. Big meals signify prosperity and hospitality during festivals like Diwali or Holi.
Now, that's a great example of providing a broader context.
Right.
Instead of just saying, bring people together, it explains how food reflects the diversity of cultures and signifies prosperity and hospitality.
Yeah.
It demonstrates a more insightful understanding of the topic.
So it's not just about answering the question.
Yeah.
It's about adding those extra layers of
Yeah.
meaning and insight.
Exactly. Next question.
Okay.
Do most people prefer vegetables bought from the supermarket or grown at home?
That's a good one. Well, in Iran, many people prefer homegrown vegetables
Okay.
because they're fresher and often free from chemicals, however.
Right.
In cities, most rely on supermarket produce
Yep.
due to limited space for gardening.
Good point. You acknowledge both sides of the issue there.
Yeah.
Now let's hear the band line answer.
All right. Many Indians prefer homegrown vegetables if possible because they are fresher and chemical-free. However, urban residents often rely on supermarkets due to lack of gardening space.
Interesting. The content of those two answers is very similar, wouldn't you say?
Yes, they both essentially convey the same information about the preference for homegrown vegetables and the limitations of urban living.
Right. Sometimes a Band 8 answer can be very close to a Band 9 answer.
Yeah.
In terms of content, the key is to maintain that level of clarity and fluency throughout the exam.
Right, so consistency is key.
Yes.
Okay, what's the next question?
Are there any difficulties when people grow plants in cities?
Yes, definitely space is a major issue in urban areas.
Okay.
Additionally, pollution and lack of sunlight in crowded neighborhoods can make it challenging to grow plants successfully.
That's a solid answer. Let's see if the Band 9 answer brings up any additional challenges.
Okay, yes, limited space is a significant challenge in Indian cities where most people live in apartments without gardens. Additionally, water scarcity can also be an issue in some urban areas.
That's a good addition.
Yeah.
The Band 9 answer specifically mentions water scarcity, which is a relevant concern in many urban environments, especially in certain parts of India. Those extra details demonstrate a more comprehensive understanding of the challenges.
It's those nuances that can make a difference.
Precisely. All right, next question.
Okay.
What plants can people grow in cities?
Well, even with the limitations, people often find ways to grow things in cities.
Mm-hmm.
Herbs like mint, basil, and parsley do well in small pots, on balconies or rooftops.
Okay.
Some people even manage to grow tomatoes or chilies if they have a bit more space.
Those are some great examples of common urban gardening choices. Let's see what the Band 9 answer suggests.
Okay. People commonly grow herbs like coriander, mint, and curry leaves on their balconies or windowsills. Some also grow small vegetables like chilies or tomatoes if they have enough space.
Very similar, right?
Yes.
Both answers provide practical examples of plants suitable for urban environments.
It seems like this particular question didn't offer as much opportunity for differentiation
Right?
between the Band 8 and 9 answers.
Sometimes that happens. The key is to always strive for clear, concise language and relevant examples.
Got it. What's the last question?
Okay, this is the final one.
All right.
Do people in your country grow plants at home?
Yes. Many Iranians grow herbs at home as they are an essential part of Persian cuisine.
Okay.
Even in cities, you'll find small herb gardens in homes or on balconies.
That's a nice cultural insight. It shows how growing plants can be more than just a hobby.
Yeah.
It can be a reflection of culinary traditions now for the Band 9 answer.
Okay. Yes, many Indians enjoy growing plants at home as part of their daily lives, especially herbs used in cooking like tulsi, holy basil, which also has religious significance.
What a great point to end on.
Yeah.
The Band 9 answer not only mentions a specific herb commonly grown in India,
Right.
but also highlights its religious significance, adding another layer of cultural depth.
So it's not just about saying, yes, people grow plants. It's about providing those specific examples and connecting them to the broader cultural context.
Exactly. And those are the kinds of responses that can really impress the examiner.
So after hearing all these Part 3 answers,
Yeah.
what are some key takeaways for our listeners who are preparing for the IELTS speaking exam?
Well, first of all, don't be intimidated by the Band 9 answers.
Yeah.
Remember, they're just examples to help you understand what examiners are looking for.
Yeah.
The key is to focus on developing your own skills and expressing your ideas clearly and confidently.
Right. It's not about being perfect. It's about striving for excellence.
Exactly. And remember, practice makes perfect. The more you practice speaking English, the more fluent and confident you'll become.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Everyone does, even native speakers.
That's true. The important thing is to keep learning and improving now before we wrap up this deep dive. I have a thought-provoking question for our listeners.
Ooh, I love thought-provoking questions. Let's hear it.
Think about a favorite food from your own culture. How would you describe it in a way that highlights its significance and uniqueness?
That's a fantastic challenge. I'm already thinking about my answer. I bet our listeners are already, like, drooling, thinking about their answers.
Oh, I'm sure. And that's the kind of thinking that's really going to help you on the IELTS. It's not just about memorizing vocabulary or grammar rules. It's about being able to express yourself clearly and confidently and with a touch of cultural flair.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into the IELTS speaking exam,
Yeah.
what are some final words of wisdom you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I would say just remember the IELTS speaking exam is designed to assess your ability to communicate in English. It's not a test of your knowledge
Right.
about any specific topic. So relax, be yourself, and let your personality shine through.
I love that. And don't forget to practice, practice, practice.
Yes, practice makes perfect.
The more you speak, the more comfortable and confident you'll become.
Absolutely. Find opportunities to engage in conversation with English speakers, watch movies, watch TV shows, listen to podcasts, immerse yourself in the language as much as possible.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've analyzed real Band 8 and Band 9 answers.
Yeah.
We've discussed key strategies for success and hopefully inspired our listeners to approach the IELTS speaking exam with confidence and enthusiasm.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you and our listeners. Best of luck to everyone preparing for the IELTS.
You got this. And remember, if you found this deep dive helpful, be sure to subscribe to our show
Yes.
and share it with your friends who are also on their IELTS journey. Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep exploring the fascinating world of language.